The number one hack to getting consistent results in the keto diet. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. This is Wade Baldwin with Freedom Echo. And as I mentioned, this is a video about the number one hack in getting consistent results with keto and doing the keto low carb lifestyle. So I was able to lose 165 pounds doing keto for, it's been over 6 years. Probably the biggest accomplishment has been keeping the weight off for over 5 years. And not to brag, lots of people have lost weight and whatnot. So I'm just trying to share some information that's hopefully helpful to you. And from my perspective, I think the number one thing that is sometimes often overlooked is how do we maintain that consistency? And so a question I pose is, what's the best measure of progress while doing the keto diet? And I've asked this to some folks that I've talked to about weight loss, and oftentimes the the number one answer is, oh, the scale. I can tell how much I'm losing on a regular basis. And no, I highly disagree, because of the hills and valleys and plateaus that go along with any lifestyle change to lose weight and get to your target weight and get healthy. The scale can often hinder and lead to deflating emotional states because there are a lot of factors. Now, granted, if you're doing keto and ketosis, which is the fat burning stage, men can lose 1 to 2 pounds a day. Now, that's not forever. There's going to be plateaus. Women can, I've heard, 0.5 pound to a pound, which is still really good. But depending upon how much exercise you're getting is certainly a factor as well, because water weight, right? Retaining water is often how it's said, but depending upon how much water you might be hanging on to at any specific time, if you go to use the scale, I would encourage to not use the scale maybe more than one time a week. Certainly that's what Weight Watchers does, right, for their check-ins. But ketos, the reason I promote keto and it was so successful for me is you get really fast results. Plus, you're avoiding those unhealthy carbs and sugar, the two probably most damaging things, at least in my opinion, from an eating perspective and healthy lifestyle. So what might be a second answer to the question, what's the number one measure of progress? Is it, my appearance? Are my clothes feeling a little bit looser? Can I cinch up that belt one more notch? And that's certainly a good and wonderful indicator, but it's not something that can be, it's long-term, right? It's not something that's immediate, and it's not something that you're going to recognize immediately. It's kind of gradual. But the primary question is, what is impacting your ability to stay in ketosis? Because I've done a lot of research and followed a lot of other people and tried to do some research when I was going through certain phases. And there's some strange things that will kick people out of ketosis. One of them for me was aspartame, artificial sweetener. It's supposed to be the sugar substitute. And now granted, this was quite a number of years ago, before the health hazards that have been discovered about what it can impact the brain. So even artificial sweeteners aren't the greatest thing, but substituting those instead of sugar. But the point is, it's identifying what works and what doesn't work for you specifically, because everybody's body is going to be different. And there are certain things, because you're going to limit your amount of carb intake, carbohydrates per day, which is another factor as well. Okay, am I okay at 100 carbs per day? Am I needing to stay at 50? 50 was kind of my magic number. But it just depends. There's a lot of factors there too, as far as how much weight you need to lose. Because the more weight you have to lose, oftentimes, sometimes it's a little bit easier for your body to stay in ketosis, because there's more fuel to burn. But there are not only carbohydrates, but other things, just as a caution, that may kick you out of ketosis. So how can you be sure you're in ketosis? Bingo. That is the number one hack on consistency, because they call it the keto diet for a reason. When I first started getting into it, and was doing it at certain phases before I was able to actually adopt it as a lifestyle, it was called the Atkins diet. So that might age me a little bit, but it's basically the same thing. The difference is I think Atkins wasn't as well documented as far as the healthy fats you need to be eating, because it's high protein, high fats, but you've got to be eating the right kind of fats. But basically, now it doesn't have to be this brand. Hopefully this will show up in the camera here. Maybe I'll get a picture in there. If you're not familiar with ketone strips, then they are, in my opinion, the number one hack for being successful on the keto low carb lifestyle. And there's a number of reasons for that. Number one, especially when you're starting out, are you in ketosis? How can you tell? How long did it take you to get into ketosis? Now, there's some wonderful products that they've come out with now, and I've done some reviews and probably do some more with BHB ketones that will actually help and get you into ketosis faster. But it's a matter of staying in ketosis and measuring, are you able to stay in ketosis consistently? Because the weight loss and getting to your goal weight is a long-term goal. So it's a matter of figuring out what keeps you in ketosis. And for me, it was a huge motivator as well, because as I mentioned, the scale was definitely not my friend when I was trying out diets, and before I was able to really be consistently successful with keto. I'd step on the scale and, oh my gosh, I a couple of days ago I had lost 5 pounds. Now I'm up 2 pounds, and so that your body's going to fluctuate a lot, and plateaus as well. If you can stay off the scale and just maintain your ketosis, you'll usually just ride through those plateaus. But if you do hit a plateau, an additional tip is to just do a quick carb load, either with a big meal of carbs, or if you want to have a breakdown day. And it's not about cheating. It's about, all right, you get your body back into eating carbs, you get it off of ketosis, and then you get right back on, getting through and breaking through that plateau, if you will. Because the point is, when things get hard, you got to lean in. You got to lean in, right? And for me, it's often, and a lot of people, losing weight, it's an emotional battle just as much as it is, there's some willpower in there too, but it's making those choices. And when I was having a struggling moment, it's like, oh, just, a donut, or for me, it's always been bread and chips. Those things were my staples, like nachos, toast, sandwiches. So the fact that they have low carb bread now just blows my mind. But, it's very easy. You get your results in a matter of seconds. It'll turn, depending upon how many ketones are in your body. It's a light brown usually, and then the darker purple it is, the more ketones that you're producing and the more in ketosis you are. So you can kind of measure that as well. How dark am I? Which can sometimes be an indicator of you may not be drinking enough water as well, depending upon, I mean, they're urine strips, right? Depending upon the color of your urine. So that's obviously something to really watch out for as well. But not all of these are created equal, but they're very relatively inexpensive. Some are more expensive, and I've seen that the quality not that great as far as giving you results timely, and just not having a very good color grade scale. So normally you can find these, you know, at your local drugstore. Sometimes they'll be behind the pharmacy counter, so you may have to ask there, or at Amazon. I'll provide some links of some of the ones that I have utilized that I've found are of higher quality and still less expensive. I hope this has been helpful, and utilize, if you're doing keto starting out, even if you've been doing it for a while, I recommend you give this a try and see how it works for you, in order to help you be more consistent and just recognize how your body's reacting to what it is you're eating. And for me, it was, as I mentioned, use it as a motivator. It's like, oh, I could cheat, but let me confirm I'm in ketosis, and then boom, get right back into that mindset of, okay, if I fall off the wagon now, I've just got to go that much longer before my body can get in ketosis, and it's just not worth it, right? I'm on track, and let's utilize tools that will keep us on track. So thanks for watching. Number one hack in getting consistency in the keto diet. Make sure to subscribe, share, and like, and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I post new content.